This is the City of Dawn.
Let me warmly welcome you to the City of Dawn YouTube channel. My name is Mubati Seeker. I am a medical doctor, healer, writer and teacher. I am the author of the best-selling Awake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul, which you can purchase on Amazon. This book can be your guide to inner development and self-discovery, helping you become who you truly are. I want to help you discover why you are here, what your unique and personalized mission is here on this planet called Earth, and how to set out with strong determination, courage, and resolve on the path that has been waiting for you for so long. This path was made for you, and no one else can walk it for you. My channel and of course my book will help you with this. Have you never felt the difference between a small idea and a great idea? A narrow idea and a wide one? Listen, I am going to give you quite a concrete and material example. You make an offering of your purse. It contains 3 rupees. Your neighbor offers his purse which contains 50. Well, the gift of 50 rupees is larger than the gift of 3. That's all. But from the moral point of view, if you have given all that you have done the utmost you could have done. Nothing more can be asked of you. You understand from the moral point of view, from the pure spiritual point of view, not from the point of view of realization. From the purely spiritual point of view, the gift of 3 rupees has exactly the same value as the gift of 50. And even he who gave 50 rupees, if he has kept back 1, his gift is less integral and pure than yours of only 3. So it is not on that plane that the thing must be seen, but from the point of view of the material realization, it is undeniable that 50 is more than 3, for all those who knows mathematics. This was from the Book of the Mother, Question and Answers, 1956. All realized souls have already reached their own perfection. They have reached the stage in their long spiritual evolution where their consciousness is already identified with the most perfect, divine version of themselves. So there is no difference between them in terms of the completeness of their realization. For all of them, it is 100% complete identification. That is why these souls no longer need to come into the physical body, because they have nowhere to go. They have reached their maximum level of development. They do not need to come for development, but for an important mission. They may still take on a body to carry out an important divine task. There is, however, a perfect hierarchy at work on these higher planes, where each is aware of his own place. This fills him with perfect happiness and contentment, no jealousy or dissatisfaction in any soul concerning this, for they all contain God in the same perfect degree, and their connection with Him is perfect. If this were not so, if the slightest spark of jealousy or dissatisfaction were to arise in any of them, it would be a sign that that soul is not yet ready. This soul has yet to develop, has not yet filled its pots. The soul is only, say, at 95%, and the remaining 5% will have to be acquired through experiences, which will require it to put on a physical body again and come down to earth to correct its deficiencies and really get to the state of being the most perfect divine version of itself. I spoke earlier about the different sizes of these jars in the context of the perfect hierarchy. It illustrates it well enough for us mental people. What makes it difficult here is that we are trying to explain in words something that perhaps cannot be explained in words. The mother used to say, live it and you will feel it. Words are misleading because it is not an easy undertaking to describe the ineffable. Since patience is not our strong point as mental people, we are not really content to wait for the right time and then experience the perfect hierarchy. It is important for us to have some idea of this now. What this blissful and everlasting state of peace will be like when we can exist in a state of blissful joy, of complete identification with God all the time and experience this perfect hierarchy. So once again, I would describe this in a kind of pictorial form. Imagine that we are all a jar full to the brim. Full because we have come from the state of a completely empty jar, which was a state of complete ignorance, through the accumulation of many lifetimes of experience, say at the dawn of our very first human life, to the sublime state of consciousness where we have gone through all the necessary stages of evolution with hard work and fervent effort. Our soul has gone through its evolution and is now 100% full to the brim, and the hierarchy will be manifested in the fact that the size of the jugs will not be the same, but everyone's will be full. The example of the mother illustrates this perfectly. This example has for me a double meaning. One which the mother describes, that is, that from the spiritual point of view, 3 rupees is of greater value than 49 rupees in the case where the person who gives the latter has given 49 because he has left 1 with himself. Then this gift is incomplete, whereas the poor woman's gift is perfect because she has given all she has. Jesus Christ had a similar parable, the widow's offering. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." There are certain parables, wisdoms and truths that recur in various religious traditions, as we see in this parable. So important is its message that it has been uttered by God from the mouths of many in many different ways, but the essence is the same. It's not about money necessarily. I don't think it is to inspire you to give everything away right now and become penniless. That would be very down-to-earth, materialistic thinking. This parable is actually telling us something very important, and that is the need for total giving. Once you decide to start on the path that we all will start on sooner or later, you may be walking along it at first in a lurch, prayerfully, not moving too fast, paying much more attention to material pleasures, living under the spell of the material world, craving desires. In this state, your self-surrender is not very great. It is as if you are giving one of your 50 rupees to the God to show that you at least know that there is a higher power over you, over our created world, but you need the remaining 49 to enjoy all the intoxication that earthly life offers. Then as you progress along and as you realize through more and more powerful experiences that the faster you can progress on this path, the more powerful your surrender. Well, then you have more and more rupees to give away. Once you give everything you have, that is, you give your whole being, when only the divine life is what you wake up with in the morning and go to bed with at night, well, then your real progress starts. It is something like starting to walk to New York. After a long wander, you realize that you are not moving very fast and it may take you several years to get there. So you choose a faster means of transport, say a bicycle at first. That doesn't make much difference to your speed, so you later take a car, but of course the best way to go is to take a plane. So you are symbolically uplifted. For really rapid progress, brutal honesty to yourself and to others, strong diversity, and total dedication are essential. That is why the pure woman's self-dedication was complete, because she dedicated her whole being to God. But the rich man could not let off material possessions. He was too much bound to the material world to leave everything behind and become fully God's in spirit. Jesus said how hard it is for the rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Indeed, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Let's first clarify what the eye of the needle is. The walls of the Middle Eastern cities usually had small gates to let in late arrivals after the main gate was closed. These were called needle gates. In order to pass through these, the camel had to kneel down, its burden removed, and it would slide through. It is difficult because the surrender is incomplete. It is possible, of course, to live richly and completely for God, provided that you surrender yourself completely, that you really only care about God. You can't just pretend, as most people with material wealth do, by throwing in a little charity now and then as a celebrity or the media praise you for your well-directed, spectacular, charitable works. From a spiritual point of view, all this is not worth much if your self-giving is not sincere and complete, and if you are really just trying to fatten your ego, to make yourself and others look good, to have as many people as possible say about you, "Wow, what a good person." We had no idea. But now answer honestly, are you really a good person? So the rich can have total self-giving. Jesus is not saying it's impossible, just not easy. There are too many deceptive lights that distract you from God. I mentioned that this story has another meaning for me, and that is the theme I talk about from the beginning of this video. It speaks wonderfully of the jars of full souls in heaven. The poor woman's pitcher can only hold 3 rupees worth of drink, but that is enough to fill it. Once filled, she is done. She no longer needs to take on a body here on earth. The pitcher is small, but it is full. He who has 50 rupees worth of drink in his pitcher, though it is not yet full at the end of his life, he will be forced to return here and take another body in order to complete his development, and so his pitcher will be filled to overflowing. Only those who have already filled their pitchers to the brim will be fully ready, and in this state they have no thought of envying one another. Those whose jar is small will not envy the other because his is bigger, and will even rejoice in it. There will be such a sense of unity in the souls that every result will be experienced as a common result. Everyone is one, and at the same time there's everyone in the one. This is what cannot be grasped by the human mind, for a sense of separation is essential to the existence of the human ego. This is how it justifies its own existence. It has to be separate from the others in order to say, I am me, not you. What an ignorance this is compared to what the so-called foolpins will feel over there. They will say, I am you and you are me. My result is yours and yours is mine. It is not important who has completed a particular task. What matters is that every task that God has ordained is completed. The soul with the bigger jar will not think it unfair that the one with the smaller one obviously had an easier time filling it, nor will he boast that he has the bigger one and therefore put more into it, because they know that both of them are full, 100% full. Small ideas and big ideas, small missions and big missions are human creations. Who has the right to say which mission is more important than the other? Isn't it the ego that always divides, multiplies and prioritizes? What is better? What is worse? Who is more powerful? In the state of perfect unity, then, all results are already a common result. If I pretend that God appoints a soul to carry out an important divine mission that will advance humanity, this so-called great mission will in fact be the merit of God Himself. The evolved soul who undertakes it evolved enough to know that he is only an instrument of God. All merit belongs to God, in fact. Therefore, it is comical to imagine that souls working in the name of God are struggling over who has the greater mission, because they know very well that they are God's instruments, working in the name of light, doing their work according to their level of development in a state of total humility and self-surrender, without egoism, without personal interest. Sometimes they won't even see the fruits of their labor, and yet they do their work and move forward on the path to the best of their ability. In this context of doing one's work without seeing the fruits of one's labor, I am reminded of the story of Vincent van Gogh, one of the world's most famous painters, who was initially thought to have sold only one painting in his miserable life of deprivation. This was later disproved, with some sources claiming that more than one of his paintings was sold during his lifetime. Whatever the truth, the famous post-impressionist painter Van Gogh lived a life that he probably had no idea would one day make him and his paintings known and famous around the world. Think about it. That's true spirituality. You get a very unique, special ability, and you do what you have to do, even if you don't get positive feedback. Van Gogh could have stopped painting. He could have said, "Who am I painting for? The dog doesn't want my paintings." But he listened to his inner voice, heard the message of his soul and accepted it. And the soul told him, "You just do your job. Paint the pictures, because that's what you've been given the talent to do. Don't worry about the rest." So that's what I am telling you now. If you feel inside what you are really here to do, if you have been given the talent to do something, and if you are quite sure that this is what you are supposed to do, then do it. No matter what anyone says, no matter how many people try to discourage you, no matter how smoothly it goes, if it's what you're meant to do, then that's what you should do. There is no story. So hang in there. Be determined and brave. Never let your enthusiasm waver. Van Gogh's work reflects his spirituality. Although he largely rejected the use of traditional Christian imagery, he developed his own spiritual iconography. Among his symbolic elements, blue represents the presence of God in his paintings and yellow the love of God. Viewing Van Gogh's most famous work, Starry Night, in this light we can see that God and his love are abundantly present. The sky reflects this, as does the city below. Both the sky and the village are predominantly blue with the presence of God. The houses are filled with the yellow light of God's love. To this I would add the very interesting observation, which is the main reason I have touched on Van Gogh in this video. The whitish blue color also represents the light of Sri Aurobindo and Sri Krishna, while the white light is the light of the Divine Mother. Wherever this light descends, it brings peace, purity, silence and openness to higher forces. So I assume that Van Gogh, like most major artists who draw inspiration from beyond, had a very important chakra open to help them express themselves artistically, and that is the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. Those who have it open gain the ability to communicate, express themselves, be creative, develop their inner hearing, and to bring us a kind of otherworldly peace and harmony. This is why when you listen to a truly inspired artist, whether it is a musician, a singer, a poet, or when you look at a painting by such a painter, you are letting something beyond earthly wonder into your consciousness. The artist is a means of bringing something wonderful down to us, as if he is directly interpreting God's message to us, often in the form of feelings. This is why it is so important to let the right art into our consciousness, the art that truly communicates God's message to us. Remember, the city of dawn is you. You who are watching this video and who are thereby being brought into the consciousness of the Divine Mother. Live this in your daily life, and if you feel comfortable here, come back again and again, be a regular guest here, be a builder, be a resident of the city of dawn. Discover the deeper truths of your life, find your way to yourself, and become who you really are. If you would like to join me, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and TikTok, and feel free to share this video with others. The Mother's books are available to read for free at the link provided in the description, and I welcome any questions you may have via email. You can purchase my book Awake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul on Amazon. You will find the link in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your hearts and souls. May Mother bless you abundantly on your journey through life. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.
This is the city of dawn.